Hey, welcome everyone. This is just going to be a quick guide to getting Crispy Doom working. In reference to if you're going to be a racer in Speed Seasons 3. So first thing we're going to do is just go to the main Doom archive. So I'm going to go into Google, type in Doomed Speed Demos Archive. Then once we get to the main page, you're going to look to the top left and you're going to see a number of tabs. So just click ports here. And then we're going to scroll down until we see Crispy Doom. So I'm just going to get rid of my pre-existing folder for this. And then I'm going to create a new one here. So just make its own individual folder for Crispy. So Crispy Doom, I guess 5.6.3. And then I recommend downloading, yes, 5.6.3 instead of 5.6.4. The issue with this second download is it has a tendency to show a false positive for a virus, and it's not really that much fun to deal with, so just go with 5.6.3. So there we go, we have it downloaded. So I'm going to extract this over to the folder that we just created. And we're going to put all the information over here. So extract that. Go check my folder just to confirm that we have the files. This is good. Now step number 2 is you have to have bought the Ultimate Doom off Steam or GOG. And that'll probably be $5 unless there's a sale currently. So after that, let's go find our Steam account. So the file path, Steam, Steam apps, common. You're going to go down. It's not called the Ultimate Doom, but it's called Ultimate Doom, which is, there we go, Ultimate Doom, base. Scroll down until you find doom.wad, and then you're going to copy this and bring it back to your Crispy Doom 5.6.3. We're going to paste that in there, and then we have one more step before we get to the setup. So I'm going to go into my search bar, bring up Notepad, and I'm going to save as a file as a batch file. So let's call this, what, speedseasons.bat, just as an example. Or sorry, I think I saved as that in a random location. So let's actually find the folder. Doom ports, Crispy Doom 5.6.3. Then we're going to save that in there and we can see it here. So before we utilize the batch file, I'm just going to want to go into Crispy Doom. Of course, Windows Defender. Windows Defender is scared of everything. Alright, so we have a series of settings that we have on the main menu. As far as display, you can play full screen if you want. I find for the majority of games, especially when they're being streamed, is I often like to go windowed mode. Just find it easier to set up, especially for more retro games. I personally play 1280 by 960. It's 4:3 aspect ratio game. So we're going to press escape to close. That should have saved. Sound files. I like to use MIDI personally. Under keyboard, okay, this is the most important tab. If you were checking the guide yesterday on Games Done Quick Hotfix, you were seeing me talk for a long time at the beginning about setting up your hotkeys for strafe 40 and strafe 50. So that's where we're going to do this. So I'm a WASD gamer, so I'm going to put forward on W, move backwards on S, strafe left on A, then strafe right on D. I'll show you my setup, but there's many ways you can do it for strafe 50. Just find something that's ergonomically pleasing for yourself and do some testing with it. You don't exactly have to use my hotkeys. So for turn left, I use E, and turn right, I use F. and then strafe on Alt. Make sure you have speed on Shift, because I talk about that one in the Void Glide. And then always run. Absolutely have that on. The base hotkey for always run is caps lock, so just pay attention to that. Under more controls, my only two recommendations in here to change anything would be toggle vertical mouse, is I put that on tilde. And I'd say for weapon 6 and 7, especially with WASD, is your plasma rifle and your BFG is pretty far away from your fingers. So I put the BFG on R, and then if you want to change the plasma too, absolutely go ahead. Just use something that's comfortable for your fingers. Yeah. Okay, under other keys, this is like more in the future. So if you find yourself enjoying Doom a lot and you want to continue on doing more runs, usually what you'll do to submit a run is create a demo file, and then you're going to upload that to, say, the Doom World forums. So the natural hotkey for finish recording demo is Q. And this one is so close to WASD, is if you have a demo that's recording, it's really easy to accidentally cancel out your demo. So it's just going to like kill your executable, you'll lose your run. And when I started out speedrunning, I made this mistake. And I lost some runs that were very far through Plutonia, and it was sad, so I would get rid of Q. Let's put this somewhere else on the keyboard. Sure. That should be everything on this page. All right, as far as your mouse settings, there's allow vertical mouse movement, but we set up a hotkey for vertical mouse movement, so you can already change that. Throughout this race, you're not really gonna have to use vertical mouse, so you should probably just have it off the whole time. But like, as far as doing anything else, Doom 2 Plutonia, where you really get into different types of glides, you want to have this setting somewhere on your keyboard. Just sensitivities, you can change that to whatever. You can also change sensitivities in game, and that's all you need to do on this page. So we're going to save settings and go out. And so now we can execute it, but like the sound is going to be really loud when you start it up the first time. So I'm going to turn down desktop audio so I don't blur out your ears. That's the very first thing I do, is turn down the sound effects and the music. Then we can go into the game and just kind of test it out. Yeah, and it looks like everything works. But the one thing we're going to want to do, I'm just going to turn down the sounds so it's easy to hear me. But if we go into the options menu, and then you go down into crispness settings, you can technically change that in setup, but I usually like to do Christmas settings in here. So I would recommend using uncapped frame rate. It's going to be much smoother and look a lot better. Probably turn off VSync. And then, yeah, that's essentially all I do from here. The only rule set for this race is you just have to ensure that there's no jumping, no crouching, and no mouse look. This is classic Doom. We're not going to use any of those modern features. Then on the last page, you can change essentially what you want, like with the exception of those settings and also the physical settings. These are going to be on default because this changes a lot of behavior. As you can see, allow jumping, vertical aiming, walk over and under monsters, and weapon recoil thrust. Don't change these. These are all fine for speedrunning as they are. So auto aim, off, off, off. Okay, and So now when we're turning around, the one thing we do not have in this setup is we're not using short ticks. So short ticks changes your turning resolution and makes it so it's kind of compatible with how old demo recordings worked. And like one of the reasons that turning resolution was reduced was to keep file sizes low. If you're kind of wondering the reason for what happened. So how do we do that? So we're going to quit out. And this is where your batch file comes in. So we still have our notepad open, and we're going to put a series of commands. And the reason I set it all up like this is so you don't have to deal with any file paths in your notepad. It's just going to be really simple. So we're going to check the executable and see the name. So we got crispy Doom. Next part, put -iwad. Okay, what's our iwad? Doom.wad. Doom.wad. We're gonna go warp 1. So warp 1 takes you to the first level, but you can take yourself to any level that you want to. So if we put like 1.3, that would be episode 1, map 3. If we put like 3.5, episode 3, map 5, and so on. Dash skill 4. Skill 4 is ultraviolence. Skill 5 is nightmare. Skill 3 is hurt me plenty, and so on. And then the last part here will be short ticks. And that's going to give us the equivalent for demo recording turning resolution. And this is more important than you think. Because if you do not have this on, you're not going to be able to set up the void glide or the rocket jump as I was showing in the tutorial yesterday. So we're going to save this, and then we're going to double click it, and there we go. We've got the game has come up. It's on map 1, and as you can see, our turning resolution is reduced. So like each little turn that we do, I always have kind of called these notches, but these turns are 1 degree each. Okay, so the final tip that I want to give as you're practicing towards your race is, as you can see, there's monsters here. But a massive part about really learning this run is not only how you deal with monsters, but it's your learning of strafe running. But having a bunch of monsters around can be very distracting. So if you want to divide and conquer, so to speak, is we can go back into the batch file we've created and add the command no monsters. And then we're going to save that. Just remember to take it off when you want the monsters back. And we're going to double click this. We go back in, and as we can see, there's no monsters, and this is going to be a perfect opportunity just to go practice your strafing, practice your lines with no monsters in the way. All right, that's the end of the Crispy Doom tutorial. I want to wish you good luck in your race, and that's King Dime. I'm out.